Today, I'll be teaching you how to make a pop-up illustration. Let's get started. My pop-up story is about Fluffy the turtle, and you get to choose any story you want to tell. The first step is to get a piece of paper and fold it in half the hot dog way, the horizontal way. The second step is to cut about 3 inches or the length of your pinky finger from the folded side, the folded edge of your paper. You'll be doing this one time very slowly, and after that, you'll move down a few inches to create a second slit in your paper, and this becomes the main part of the pop-up. That is the first box that you'll cut. After that, move down a little bit more on the folded edge and cut a smaller amount into similar lines. Now that you have your 2 boxes, it's time to open the piece of paper and carefully pinch out the 2 boxes that you've created. You'll notice that I'm bending the paper and folding it in on itself to create a 3-dimensional cube. And then when I'm happy with the way it stands up, I'm going to press down completely to create this 3-dimensional box effect. So notice that I'm pushing down to crease and create that top part of the cube. So try to do this part and you'll see now that it really does stand up with those 2 3-dimensional shapes. So this is the step that you should be working on now. And all you'll need are your hands for this, no extra materials to press and fold. It's really a good choice to draw everything on the background in the foreground before you glue down the character and the extra pop-up parts. In this case, I'm choosing to tell the first 3 panels of my story about Fluffy the turtle in one scene. So I'm using a pencil to draw the ground line where the fold in my paper is, and then I'll move on to draw everything in a permanent pen or a marker to really emphasize that this is a stylized drawing, a comic book style. I'm just going to create this one using a pen. I'm not coloring it in this time. So remember, you should be drawing everything that you want to include in the background first, and also add all the small details in the foreground to create that scene that you want to tell, the story that you want to tell. All right, so remember, go slow and careful on this part, and then we'll start to collage the character and the small extra details that you want with the 2 boxes that you have. So as you're drawing this background, be thinking of what you want to add in the next part. So I measured some paper to create the shapes about the size of the boxes that I created by the folding and slicing of the paper. So I want you to create the 2 features in your drawing that you want to come out and pop out in a 3-dimensional way. In my case, I chose the turtle itself, as well as the television set and the table with all the video games that are underneath. So I'm using the outline marker to create those shapes and add some strong and bold lines to make them pop out more. And as I'm drawing them, I'm going slow and careful. And when I'm ready, I will cut out each part and hold it up to those 2 boxes to make sure that everything is about the size that I'd like before I commit to gluing it down. So for this set of steps, you'll need your scissors again, as well as a glue stick or some liquid Elmer's glue. You get to make that choice, but I do think that for the stronger pieces to stay, because I was using cardboard, I used liquid Elmer's glue, and that was a strong bond to the paper, and it was able to stand for a longer period of time. So that's what I recommend, but you don't have to use liquid glue. You could also use a glue stick.
What? What?
To have this work effectively, you don't want to glue everything lying down flat. So hold the box up with your finger and press and count to about 25 to really secure the piece. See how I'm holding it and I'm gluing it down? That's what I recommend doing before you're moving on to the next part. To eliminate unnecessary waste, I am working with the remaining parts of my marker pack. So I'm using the cardboard wrapper that my markers came in to create the main shape of the turtle. And you really want to block out, again, those simple shapes before you work to add the small details. You could use a pencil to sketch it out before you use a marker, or you could go directly on marker and draw out your character or the part to your pop-up illustration that you're working on. So once you've created that last piece, it's time to find a place to display your three-dimensional drawing. And I can't wait to see the pop-up art projects that you are working on over the course of these next few days. So feel free to send me a photo or share with me a story about your pop-up experience. And I look forward to seeing you in the next drawing video.